So congratulations once again for making it through sections 6 and 7 on minification, and welcome to the official easy peasy portion of the course, the absolute easiest thing that we're going to do throughout the entirety of the course. So image optimization. Very easy. Remember we talked about lossy image optimization and lossless image optimization and metadata removal, things of that nature, so as to optimize our images for speed to deliver the smallest possible file size of image that we can, because again, less means more when it comes to speed. The solution I'm going to be I recommend for you to use and will therefore be exampling is by far and away the best solution that we've found is in terms of being automatic and user-friendly, and one that also constitutes precisely zero compatibility issues as far as what we've found. That's not to say that you might not find a compatibility issue, but the likelihood of it is very, very slim. And as we do with all optimization plugins in existence, WP Faster has tested this thoroughly, and it should be good to go for you straight out of the box. And that solution is the EWWW, some people say EW, Image Optimizer. You'll search for that, and there it is. Now we already have this installed. So, and if we did not, this install now would be where this update now is. Looks like we need to make an update. We'll do that later. So once you have that installed, obviously you will activate it. And then your access to EWWW, or EW, Image Optimizer, will be over here in Settings, EW, Image Optimizer. Now I'm not going to go over this in detail. The reason being that these settings are very much going to be particularized to your needs, and you are going to need to figure out exactly how you want to set things up for the best possible outcome relative to your site and setup. I'll also be linking to some videos that the plugin author himself has done, and I'll put those in the addendum to the section. But let's do let's say some basic looks at this, a basic look at this rather, because I do want to make some specific recommendations here with respect to what almost all of you ought to do. So first, let's expand the plugin status box here. And here you'll get a total savings from all of the images that have been optimized with EWWW Image Optimizer. So your total weight that you're saving from all of your images will be listed here. We've got a pretty significant savings there of 2.34 megabytes. So that's 2.34 megabytes that would otherwise be served to our end user were we not using this plugin. This section here, the plugin author himself, I'm going to allow him to explain this stuff to you. No sense in reinventing the wheel. But I will note here that so long as you have a proper host, there's that theme again, none of this is going to be problematic for you, and everything should work right upon install. So down here in the settings, the cloud settings, there's a cloud optimization option. Some of you might, for image heavy sites, might need to make use of this. Most of you will not, and you'll enter for those of you who will, it is it's a purchase kind of thing. Neither I nor anyone involved with WPFaster.org is affiliated in any way with this feature for EWWW Image Optimizer. Just there for transparency's sake. So if you want to use this, go ahead. That's where your API key will be optimized, and then you particularize from there. Let's go into basic settings. You have a debugging feature here that you will use to provide information for support purposes, or if you feel comfortable with digging around in the code to fix a problem you are experiencing yourself. This will add debugging information. Now, the removal of metadata. This is an optional feature here, and this removes all metadata. EXIF, and comments. None of that is needed in order to render your images as an image. I do recommend, if your primary concern is performance, that you remove metadata. This option here, lossy JPEG optimization. And you get a warning here because there is by definition, there is a loss in image quality. I kind of wish that was worded different, because technically what it is the removal of pixels from the image, but whether or not that is a qualitative subtraction is relative to whether or not it can even be perceived by the human eye. So, that's kind of accounted for here in the author's explanation. While most users will not notice a difference in image quality, lossy means there is a loss in image quality. So you yourself will have to maybe do some before and afters of your images with lossy JPEG optimization to see if that's something you want to make use of. Same thing here with your PNGs, your .png images. Bulk delay. This is basically if you have an underpowered server, you might want to jack this up from 0 to whatever. But it really should be fine, even if you are on a shared host. So let's go into advanced settings. Your OptiPing, OptiPNG optimization levels. There's a recommendation here. 10 trials should satisfy most people. 30 trials should satisfy everyone. Again, relative to however powerful your server is how you will set this from the drop-down box. Or relative to how powerful your server is relative to how many images you have to optimize on a constant basis. We don't constantly optimize images, so we're sitting comfortably right here in the middle. Your PNG out optimization level. Again, here a recommendation. If you have CPU cycles to spare, if you have a powerful server, go ahead and go to 0. If not, adjust as you need. Scheduled optimizations, you'll have to decide whether or not you want to use that. Folders to optimize, you'll have to decide whether or not you want to use that. Disabling automatic optimization, I do not recommend that you disable automatic optimization, and I'll explain why here in a moment. If you don't want EWWW Image Optimizer to bother with extremely small images that would probably otherwise not make a difference, at least in theory, they would not make a difference, then you can go ahead and set your file size in bytes here. We've got it to 0. We're optimizing everything. Again, in the aggregate, every little bit matters and every little bit helps. So I would recommend that you leave that to 0, and no matter what size the image, go ahead and get the file sizes of those images down as small as you can possibly get them. Less means more when it comes to speed. The option to skip large PNG images is here, and you might want to do that because if they are extremely large, compressing large PNG images tends to be or can be more noticeable. So again, you want to A/B test and do some before and after comparisons to see whether or not you want to skip your larger PNG images. Again, most people, unless they're on super high resolution monitors, etc., or super high resolution devices, are not going to notice. Now, exclusion of full-size images from lossy optimization. You have the option for that here. Again, that's going to be based on your particular needs. Exclude full-size images from metadata removal. If you want to keep your metadata in your full-size images for whatever reason, you would have that option here. I do recommend disabling ping out, PNG out. After you configure all this the way that you're ultimately going to need it, save your changes. Let's check out very quickly conversion settings. Choose whether or not you want to delete originals. If you have the space on your server, I would not delete the originals. You may want to give access to them, and especially if you end up screwing something up, you want to be able to have access back to those originals. WebP is a Google image format, so you have the option here to alter JPEGs and PNG images into WebP. Whether or not you want to do that, again, is up to you. The more widely recognized formats, however, are JPEG and PNG, so bear that in mind. Here you have the option to enable JPEG to PNG, convert JPEG images to PNG. Some of you may wish to do that. Most of you will not. Enable PNG to JPEG, the alternate there in reverse. The option is there. And in hex format, you can enter the JPEG background color. And as recommended here, enable GIF to PNG. There's absolutely no problems with that. There's not going to be any configuration issues or compatibility issues or problems that would arise by enabling this. And the author knows that too. So he says no warnings here, just do it. And so you should. I want to show you ultimately what this does, or what this will add to your media library. Over here, you can image optimizer field added, and it will show you the savings for each image that EWWW Image Optimizer has given you, and whether or not it's a supported file type. So that you can see here just basically reduce this image by 67.1%. That's significant. All of that really adds up. Further, over here under Media, there's a bulk optimize feature which has some really cool stuff. Again, you can alter the pause time in between altering images. That helps those of you on underpowered servers. This tells you here how many images within the context of the media library have been optimized or unoptimized, and then how many resizes. Now the optimize everything else feature is really pretty neat, because not all of your site's images, not all of the images on your site are inside of your media library. In fact, many of them may be produced by your theme, BuddyPress, WP Symposium, in any folders that you've specified on that settings page. So, in other words, anything that's not in your media library, you can go ahead and scan that and optimize that here, which is really neat, because you get additional image optimization outside of the media library. So, there you have it. Easy image optimization for your WordPress site, so as to serve the most optimized images possible, because less is more when it comes to speed.